Oh, nice. Thanks. Thank you very much. Couple topics. Give me a couple topics, please.
Abundance.
Forgiveness.
Beltane. Joy.
Belief in yourself. Balance.
Okay, that's good. Especially since the pen isn't working. I scratched it out there as best I could. Okay. Okay. To me, it's very interesting the way people study, the way they pursue the spiritual path. There's a lot of things. There are a lot of things that we do. Prayer, meditation, reading, drum circles, a lot of things we do. These are all things that are tools on the path. And so they're very, very helpful. And yet, it's easy for people to get very caught up in the literal. For example, even something as non-literal as one of you brought up, forgiveness, abundance. All these, they're important concepts, but they're concepts. Behind everything is an energy. Seek first the energy of God, and all things will follow. Looking for stuff only brings you stuff. Now, this is a huge, huge topic here. As we're getting, I just see it. It's like, wow. Picture this curve, okay? And this curve, picture 3 layers. The heavenish layer, the halfway to earth layer, and the earthly layer. But there's these 3 layers that we all go through. And I love teaching things about what we all go through rather than an isolated topic, which is also good because there's people that need that topic. But I love things to apply to everyone in one way or another. So we all have these and live in these 3 layers. In coming into what we know to be the line up here, the universe, something changed. We once were holy beings, the top layer, holy beings. And now we're down here in the fallen world. So what happened from layer 1, holiness, to fallen? Meaning trouble paying bills, health issues, aging, and whatever else. Those are very different, aren't they? Holiness. Holiness isn't where your face creams actually work. Holiness isn't where you have a better income. Holiness means so complete, there's nothing else to talk about. There's nothing to long for, yearn for. There isn't anything else. In holiness, the word is whole. Whole, complete. W-H-O-L-E. Whole, complete. So it's not like holiness needs a date. Holy. But it's such a foreign concept, we have to have other conversations. So we start the consciousness starts like holiness, and then comes judgment, and then comes your fallen. The opposite is fallen, forgiven, holiness again. Holiness is consistent on both sides. Fallen is consistent on both sides. The only difference is whether you live judgment or forgiveness. Does that make sense? Okay. So we would like to have more abundance, for example. How do you get that? Well, you work double jobs. No, that's what a fallen world told you. So that you're never happy. Well, I'm happy I have more money, and you're going to die a few years earlier than you would have without the second and third job. Because you're maxing out your stress level or whatever else, your energy level. So we've got this kind of a curve. Now, here's another way to think about this. How do you reach enlightenment? Well, it's a special herb you smoke. No. Well, it's when you find your soulmate. No. That'll be fun for a few weeks, but then no. What is it that's going to most help us get enlightened? Well, there's a few things I could say, but just one. Stop thinking so literally. Stop being so dominantly in your left brain and start looking at life at a deeper level. That's it. Okay, well, But I can't do that because there's literally problems. And you think they're literal, and you also think literal solutions will solve them. But you can't heal or fix or repair literal problems with the same literal mind that corrected them or that created them. We have to get used to going from this side of the chart to this side, or of the model. What's on this side? We go from fallen to forgiven to holy. Well, we kind of know that. But keep this whole model, not just half, in mind. When you're judging, you're falling. When you're fallen, you can practice forgiveness and go back to wholeness. Judge, and you are fallen. But I don't just mean, because I'm not going to just do a talk on judgment and forgiveness. I'm saying there's a difference between the literal world, which is over here, and the symbolic world, which is over here. So a person can say, well, yes, I have a judgment, but it's a righteous judgment because someone did something, literally to me. Here's what you would do. I wonder what the, symbolic meaning of this is. I don't want symbolic. I want literal. And so it is. Bye. Down to hell. This hell, fallen. You want to ascend? Here's a conversation, another topic. Ascend. How do I ascend? Not living in the literal side of the world. Literal is hell. The letter of the law is hell. Or as the Bible says, the letter of the law is death. The spirit of the law is life. Which one do you want to have? Well, I want life. Then stop taking things so literally. I talk to people and I use constantly, that's how my mind works. It's like this. Symbolism, metaphor. This is what ancient people used to teach children. They would use parables. They didn't teach literally. Why? Because literal doesn't make any sense. It makes everything squeeze into a little box. So, all we are is dust in the wind. Right? So play the tune. I close my eyes, right? All we are is dust in the wind. You tell that to a child, they're going to be like, I'm scared. I'm dust. That's it? Don't take it literally. The illusionary part of you is dust in the wind. It just blows away. You're here, you're gone. That is scary. You know why it's scary? Because you want the literal world to actually exist. Why would you want the literal? Because that's what would scare you. I want to not just be dust in the wind. I want it to be something that lasts. Nothing lasts forever but the earth and sky. Write the song. There you go. It's not going to last forever, and I'm scared. You're not scared of this, that you are an eternal holy being. You're scared because you want your way. You want your world to be real, and it isn't, and that scares you. People are going insane in the world right now, in part, greatly, in part, to the fact that the world that they thought was real and powerful isn't. And it's making people panic. Okay? It's making people panic. They're getting disturbed. Why? Because reality is starting to reveal itself. It's starting to bleed through, and that scares people because they want the literal world to be real. Is this making sense so far? I hope so. This is how important this literal world concept, this is how important this is for us all. When you're upset, maybe you should look at, am I taking things too seriously, too literally? Maybe, use different wording to see what might speak most to you. Jesus was talking to the apostles once, and he's saying, okay, guys, I'm paraphrasing, but I'm going to start downloading some really cool stuff right now. So, seatbelts in, man, okay, and the apostles are like, okay, this is going to be cool. Let's go for it. And he goes, wait. Mary Magdalene was in the room. Peter's like, well, remember, we got to get rid of her because women aren't allowed to be directly taught. That was against the culture in the time. Women aren't allowed to be in the room. And Jesus is like, oh, well, what do you propose we do? You know what he said? Well, she's not a man. Only men are worthy. Jesus then says, then let's make her into a man. Now, if you take that literally, get some, what are you going to get out? Some instruments and hormones or something, and sex change operations? Or what do you do? But this is why fundamental religions are so messed up, because everything's about the letter of the law. That's why in the Far East, the concept of Shiva is to break the illusions of what? The gods. Because people were taking the rules of Brahma and so forth so literally. And it's just brilliant. You know, Shiva's going to come in and go, this is going to be so much fun. Oh, no, but we're holy men. Oh, are you? We're holy. We know all the Vedas, and we recite things, and we have it memorized. Same as the Pharisees in the Middle East. Okay? It's the same as some Native American elders. The rituals become greater. You follow? The form, the literal. You have to always wash your feet before whatever it happens to be. And then you didn't wash your feet. Oh, I'm going to hell now. This is there's no hope in these literal traditions. Why? They're on this side of the chart. This side of the chart is from holy to judged to fallen. Stay on the literal side of thinking, literal side of the world, you have no hope. Because literal doesn't exist, it can't give you any hope. All it can do is guilt and shame and make you fear to go ahead and follow all the rules. So the Brahmin priests are like, okay, here's the rules, and I have everything memorized and recited. Shiva shows up naked. They're like, wait. I'm pretty sure this isn't in here. We're not supposed to be naked doing spiritual rituals. Why? Because your nakedness is tainting the celebration. Shiva would be like, why aren't you bringing the sacredness to the nudity? No shame. Where does the shame start? It's okay for a 3-month-old to be naked. It's okay for a 6-month-old. Is there a line that God said, but not after a certain age? You know, once you're 5, it's starting to get weird. Really? Who decides this? Symbolic is what we're looking for. Deeper thinking. Open your mind to deeper thinking. So picture this. Jesus then says to Peter, why is Mary not allowed to be in here? Because she's not worthy. So men are what? Worthy. So when Jesus said, let's make her a man, did it mean make her a man? Yes or no? Yeah. What did it mean? Make her worthy. That's it. How do you make her worthy? Don't judge her. That's all. Now she's worthy. See her as one with everyone else. She's suddenly worthy. Only God can make things worthy. Where's God? Oh, up in the sky somewhere. Really? Man, I'm sorry for you. Your religion is that all power is out there somewhere in space. Do you see how beautiful everything can be when you bring it to the here and now? It's like the worthiness is all we're supposed to be looking at. How can I see her worthy? Now that's thousands of years, 2,000 years later, Course in Miracles technically. Help me to see her as you see her. And now she's worthy. God, look through time and imagine that you've ever been an individual who would walk into a room and say to a parent, don't abuse the children. They're God. Imagine being the one that would walk into a couple having an argument. Hold it a minute. Well, she's supposed to do it because I'm the man of the house. She's the same as you. She's a mirror of your feminine side that you're abusing, which means you're allowing only half of your side to seemingly thrive, which isn't thriving at all, and the other side to be beaten down. You're going to come back as one of them next time, being beat down so you can see what it's like. Is that heaven or hell? So all of a sudden, reincarnation isn't looking very good for that person anyway. So a lot of people, you know, they'll get this concept. They'll go, how do you catch on? I mean, somebody can tell me a dream and I can interpret it. Or somebody says, here's a quote out of the Bible. How do you interpret those things? It's not about feeling or being special. It's about simply asking for the deeper meaning. Get used to tuning into the deeper meaning of things. Any of us can do it, but just practice not only tuning into the deeper significance, rule out the literal, not completely, but just try to move more into, I wonder what the deeper meaning of this might be. And I'm telling you, it shifts you from here to this side. It takes you into your right mind. Healthy thinking. And oh my God, what a difference it would make. Every religion would be transformed if they said, we're going to announce. What if the Pope announced suddenly, internationally, all around the world, global TV, from now on, every time we do a ceremony in our churches, we're going to explain what we're doing and everybody will participate as a consciousness changing. See? Instead of a thing you do, it's mirroring what you're becoming. How cool would that be? How cool. What if the Christian religions said, we're going to focus more on Christ in Jesus rather than the guy that was crucified? Right now, the pagans are still waiting every year for the sun to come back in the atmosphere, in the sky. Literal. The Jews are still waiting for a Messiah, literally. The Buddhists, a Maitreya, Buddha. All the groups are still waiting for something to happen, literally. Every one of them, I don't care how cool you think those religion traditions are, every one of them is not going to get what they're waiting for in the way they think. They've got to accept the meaning of it, and then it's done. When? Right here and right now. Everything you were waiting for, your soulmate, literally, my God, how much longer are you going to wait? People take things so literally. Why? Because they're afraid. There's part of them that doesn't know how to live, think, feel on the symbolic side. Why? Because that's the deeper. People want things to be shallow so they can stay shallow. This isn't an accident. Well, you know what it is, Michael? The government. It's their fault. They don't allow us to be deeper thinkers. Why don't you see through that and look at the deeper meaning of that? Looking at the deeper meaning of things takes responsibility. So if I've got a mailman and they're not dropping off my mail, you know why? Because they don't like me. That's what it must be. Which could be true. They could just passive-aggressively be throwing it away or aggressively burning it as kindling for their fires. Don't know. All I know is that's an option. I'm not getting my mail. Someone's literally out to get me. There's a deeper, let me, takes responsibility. Let me go right here. Okay, wait. This is symbolic. This has happened a lot in my life. My boss used to not give me my check. My brothers used to take things out of my room. See what I'm doing? I'm looking at a bigger pattern of whose? Mine. I went from my mailman, bad guy. Oh, mailman. Could be issues with mails. This is getting interesting. Right? It's getting interesting. Go to the deeper meaning of things. Here's another one. My mailman isn't bringing, and I catch him and I ask him and he apologizes. He's sincere. I can tell it's not on purpose. What's going on? And here's what could come to mind. He's not delivering my mail because he can't find me. Maybe I'm not grounded and present enough. Do you see what I'm doing with that? This is deep stuff here because you have to go, maybe I'm not showing up enough in my life. That's a possibility. I could be so ungrounded that the universe could be mirroring it as, Michael, knock, knock, we can't find your house, which is symbolic of you. We can't find you. What do you mean you can't find me? Well, the mailman comes by and he drives right past like your house isn't there. Because subconsciously he's picking up, there's no one home. You know what you need? Some root chakra work. Get grounded, do some tantric breathing exercises, hug a tree, whatever you want to do. Kind of funny to think about it. But if you start showing up, they can't not find your house. You follow what I'm saying there? This happened here at Unity of Sedona, I remember. On the outside, there were some people that wanted to take the leadership and be the leaders here. This is like after a year or two that I was here. What's interesting is, despite all the strangeness, there was an important piece to this for me. And that is, they wanted to take over Unity of Sedona because there was no one else there. I was there. And we were having quite a great time. But I was only officially and legally listed to be here temporarily. So my not showing up made them think Daddy's not home, we can move in on that family. Now, it was the right thing to do because that was my agreement to call myself a temporary leader. That was fine. But the universe was saying, now, can you root yourself and be there? And the others will go away. And they did. But I asked you guys, do you guys want me to stay here and be there, or, my vote would be, let me leave. But that always feels better when you have problems. Run. So that's a good option. But I was always on tour, so that was not, being planted like this wasn't my thing. So I had to take responsibility and say, wow, I have to completely show up. I still needed your permission because we had an agreement that I'm temporary. You guys said make it permanent. I said, and so it is. When I showed up, or when you show up, when your partner's cheating on you, maybe there's all kinds of possible reasons. Maybe one of them is that you're not there. Show up and then they'll find you. They'll see you. You can make it an ultimatum. Okay, I'm completely here. I got the message. You were drifting because there was no one else here. I'm here now. I got it. Will this be enough, or do you need something for you that doesn't involve me? And if not, I'm gone. If it does work, then I'm present. Is that making sense? Show up. Why do these animals keep breaking in my yard and getting into my flowers? It could be all kinds of reasons. Maybe you just have some really delicious flowers. But I wonder if it's they don't sense anyone home. Think about this, please. There's a deeper way of looking at everything in this world, everything in life. One of the biggest reasons for when a dream you have, a calling, a synchronicity, or a psychic reading, one of the most common reasons that readings or intuitions, insights sometimes don't manifest, one of the most common reasons is if you took it too literally. Tomorrow you're going to meet the person of your dreams, you're going to get married. It might have meant tomorrow in one of your meditations, you're going to feel complete. But no, because you're at Safeway. Where are they? Where are they? Go in this soulmate aisle. It's just, this is how serious people can take it. Do you know, I've said this before, but we have lots of rave reviews about Sunday services and YouTube, Facebook. We have all these rave reviews. There's only 2 topics out of the many that I cover that seems to irritate people. One has to do with soulmates, and one has to do whether or not Jesus, got it on with Magdalene. It's like these 2 things. And you know what the theme is of both of them? Literal. How dare you say that I need to look within instead of for my soulmate? The reason you're angry at me right now is because you're literally falling. You can expect people to be irritated when they're on this side of the chart. They haven't found forgiveness and wholeness yet, holiness. So they're upset. Those are the 2 topics that irritate people. And it's like, wow. And so sometimes I even have fun with those topics, knowing, oh, this is going to be interesting. But with all due respect, it's fear. I come from this side of the chart. It's all I know. So you need to tell me things literally. Tell me that Jesus was literally, coupled with Mary Magdalene. Because I can't believe that it's a deeper story than that. I can't believe that romanticizing, anything beyond romanticizing exists. I want it to be just romantic. Why? Because then you're being validated in your insecure, little, literal, fallen self. And some people can go, well, it sounds even judgmental to think. It's already judged. As soon as someone's needing things to be literally true, they're already judging it so that they can bring it down to that level. So I'm only telling you that you've done that. You've judged something to make it here. Anytime you say, I'm looking for my other, wow. I'm not saying you can't have people you really connect with. I'm not going to say yes or no. And people ask, Jesus and Mary were there. Let's say they were partnered. What's the deeper meaning? Don't talk to me about matrimony. Tell me the deeper meaning. When you go for the deeper meaning, even of your dreams, you're going to wake up with greater insights, aren't you? Literal? Oh, I had a dream last night. I was gardening and I decided to put in poppies instead of daffodils. I guess I'm going to go to the store and get poppies instead of daffodils. How deep is that? I'm glad you made greater your variety of flowers, but if that's as deep as it goes, what if it meant something else? What if when you dreamt that you died? When I was in high school, I was in 12th grade, I had this one really trippy teacher. She was a substitute teacher. And she was into all this. And I remember she would go into the classroom and she would say, okay, everyone, you're going to do this. It was an electronics class. You're going to practice circuit boards. You're going to practice soldering. And so do this, this, this. Okay, everybody got it? Except for Michael. Michael, you're going to come with me. And we'd go in her office and hang out. And she would say, okay, now here's how you bend spoons with your mind. And I remember she'd say, have you had any interesting dreams? And this is what I did in high school with this teacher. And I remember this, whatever year. How come when we get old, we hesitate? Anyway, so I remember her saying, so I had a dream. And I said, the dream was I was driving a car about a block from my house, and there's this tiny, slight hill in this one street. I said, and I was coming over the hill, and as I went over the hill, someone shot me in the head. Boom! And I fell over. She said, that's because you're going through a major change in your thinking. Right? She didn't say, oh, you better get a football helmet. You shouldn't drive. Stay away from that street. Now, if that were a reader that said, stay away from that street, would it have been an accurate read? Not really, right? Even with good intentions. The more literal you go, the greater the chance that you're wrong. And you're going to get upset, you're going to blame. Why do you think it's hard for psychics to use dates on predictions? Dates are one of the toughest. You know why? Because dates make things literal. If you have a dream or a vision that says, either tomorrow or 30 years from now, this is going to happen to you. And then tomorrow comes and it doesn't happen, so you have to wait 30 more years. That's taking it literal, and that's not quite comforting in here. I would say either tomorrow or 30. Oh, I get it. It means at any moment this could happen. Do you see what I just did with that? Why 30 years? That's such a broad span. Exactly. That's what the message was supposed to be telling you. It's open. Just look for the deeper meaning. I don't care what your head tells you. Ask for guidance. What might be the deeper meaning? The more you get fixated on a thing, you'll know you're probably going the wrong direction. The more you get invested in the outcome, you're probably going the wrong direction. Look for the deeper meanings. Religions could do this. Everybody would do so much better in their lives if they looked for the deeper meaning. All of a sudden, Maitreya has come. All of a sudden, the Messiah is here. You see? There is no time. It's just an illusion. So to create a life that is sort of focused on time, this is going to happen by this time, and so on. You're turning over to this side. You're turning the fallen direction. I want to ascend. I want to ascend. How? Forgiveness, of course, but also symbolic. Look for the deeper meaning. When the ancient civilizations and peoples, indigenous peoples, taught their children, they taught them to look, A Course in Miracles calls this content versus form. Don't go with form. Go with content, meaning what is the deeper meaning? Okay? Indigenous people would say, once upon a time, da-da-da-da-da, whatever the story is, Jack and the Beanstalk. What's the deeper meaning? And they allow the children's minds to start going, See, because that's called imagination, which is infinite. It's not literal, which is stuck in a little box. It's, wow. So you wouldn't say, all right, children, what's your interpretation of the three bears? Oh, well, Goldilocks and blah, blah, blah. Wrong, wrong. Well, it wouldn't be the right and wrong. It would be like, ooh, that's a great insight. Oh, that's wonderful. And how did you feel about that? Wow. And if you were one of the three bears, which one are you most like? See, you make it go places. That's why, like, when I'm teaching, I don't say, we're going to talk about this and then be done with it, which for some people is a little hard. They're like, he talked about two different things. My mind is so, blown, and it's incomprehensible to me. Two topics. It's all together. It's all woven together. So even when I'm teaching it, if I talk about 8 topics, there's a theme to them. If you could get into the feeling, they would all start explaining themselves. Instead of the head going, wait, I thought we were talking about this, and now he's talking about that. The consciousness, the soul goes, oh, I get it, and it ties them together. That's why I, as a teacher, enjoy tying things together. So people can say, I really love that you do that. But for some people, the more left brain and linear, the harder that's going to be for some people anyway. So it's interesting because there is no time. And because there's no time, Spirit has no problem contacting me at around 3 or 4 in the morning. God, it's like, check your clock, people. Daylight savings time. I mean, what do you use? Time difference? In heaven, there's no time. So it just comes, The thing is, if you go to bed with a mind of prayerfulness, which you should, when you go to bed at night and you go, I rest in God. It's like Jesus on the cross saying, into your hands I surrender my spirit. Say that when you go to bed. Oh, but then you might die like Jesus. No, they're literal. Into your hands I surrender my spirit. Into your hands I surrender my dreams. Into your hands I surrender my rest. See, it's beautiful. But now that you surrendered, which is sort of a form of reaching out, isn't it? Wouldn't it stand to reason you might get a response? Something's coming back. Morse code, telegraph, something. If you don't want it, stop going to bed praying. Just use a chant. Leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone, and then you won't be bothered. And I have these conversations with Jesus, for example, Listen, can we avoid the 3 and 4 in the morning kinds of things? Jesus will say, oh, this coming from the one who tells everybody to be awake. You keep telling everybody, stop being asleep. I'm just relying on your, okay, fine. You got me there. Could we put it off till 6? And here's what he says. We could. We could if you really want that. No problem. There's a challenge, though. At 6, the more your literal brain starts to activate, the less you're going to hear the deeper messages. Are you okay with that? Well, no. Okay, then. Go with it. And I'm like, whatever. It's my chant, whatever. Fine. So, surrender your day when you wake up. Surrender your sleep when you're going to sleep. I live in God. This is day and night. And for some people, that's a little much. And I agree, it can be. Sometimes you're just like, can I just have a human day? I just want to be all literal and scared and, can I just live in fear today? And you can. You can. What I have found is the more I wake up, the harder it is to go back to sleep. Just like in the morning, the more you wake up, the harder it is to go back to sleep. So the metaphor, the deeper symbolic meaning of that, the more I wake up, the harder it is to go back to sleep. Oh, but that's frustrating, and it really can be. When you start waking up, you realize, who are you going to date? The more you wake up, you can't settle as much. Oh, you'll do. I'll just pretend I don't mind people that don't brush their teeth, or whatever else, But you do mind, But I think I can handle that addiction, as long as it's not this other addiction. I can overlook that. Why? The more you wake up, you're like, You can't overlook it anymore. And that whole sweet spot of soulmate, waiting for your other. Again, on a literal level, some people will tell you, there's someone out there that completes you. Because if there is literally an out there, but there isn't. There's only in here. So there is no one out there. Oh, now I'm depressed. Only because you took it literally and thought you needed it. If you're whole and over here, back home, you'll be fine with it. So the more upset it makes you to hear the different version of a soulmate concept, the more upset that makes you, the more you've been living on the literal. Is that bad? No. To err is human. To forgive is holy, is divine. And whoever that other is, when they find out, well, I've been searching for my other. How long? It didn't happen a year ago that you splintered off from another who you now have to find. When did it happen then? What, the beginning of time? So you've been searching for another since the beginning of time? It's a long time. And they've slept with a lot of people. When they find out how many you've slept with since the beginning of time, it's going to go from cellmate to hate mate. That's it. I thought I was looking for you, but wow. 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 It gets really weird, right? To realize these things. So, what's the deeper significance in you as a teacher, in seeking friends and students and viewers? They're parts of myself. That's it. We're always just either pulling away from parts of ourselves, people you don't like, or trying to pull towards other parts of myself that I am liking. See? There's a deeper meaning to these things. And I understand that people aren't in that mind space. I understand that. I understand that some people, when you go, hey, I'd like to pay your grocery bill for you, here's $20. Well, wait, why are you doing that? I understand that it scares people to be around people that see things from a different place. So you and I have to be tactful in our approach. I don't think we should, kick the doors down of everybody and tell them the deeper meaning of life. You have to be careful. And if some people want to stay scared, let them stay scared. And I'm not putting down the literal, because things do have to be done in a third dimensional world. They will have to be done. If someone says, hey, did you prep your garden for this spring and for summer's crop? Energetically, I did. So I think we're good to go. So you didn't do any of the weeding? No. I just told the weeds, I'm over you. How did that work in your relationship, weeds? So there are things that happen. If you see somebody collapse and injured in some way, collapse, you might literally want to take them to the hospital. But Michael said, look for the deeper meaning. You can on the drive. Pick them up, put them in the car, get them to the hospital. And then you're going, okay, I'm going to get them. I'm literally taking them, but I'm realizing how I feel about caring enough for a person to take them to the hospital. There's deeper meaning. Nice job. Then you get to the hospital and you go, hospitals, oh, they're so weird, and people have such the food, wow, So the food there, people really have a hard time with. And, so is it that? It's cold and it's very sterile and it's very... But a hospital, isn't it interesting? The word is kind of similar to hospitality, kindness. What happens in hospitals? A lot of people die in hospitals. Oh, so I don't like going to hospitals. People die there. You're going to die and you're going to end up there anyway, in the morgue or somewhere like it, or be sick one day. But what that means to me, hospital, if a lot of people die there, it sounds to me like a place that's midwifing people to the other side. It sounds like a hospitality place. Hospitable, think about it. We're here to help you transition. Don't make them into the bad guys. You see what I'm saying? Look for deeper meaning, whatever it is. You have certain critters that invade your yard. There's a meaning to these things. It's not magical to think more broadly. It's normal. It just seems magical to people that don't want to do it or don't remember that they can. The magic looks like something wasn't there and now it is. Abracadabra, boom, there it is. But that's only happening when you don't know that it's possible. Think it, and it can be. Just broaden the mind. But I want something practical, Mike. I want a partnership. And that's symbolic of what? I didn't say you can't literally have one. So if literal is okay, it has its place, but the priority needs to be on the deeper meaning. Seek first the deeper meaning. Seek first the symbolic, not the literal. Some of the things you guys asked about, look at how this applies to this as a theme behind them all. The deeper meaning. I'm looking for love. And where do I find it? Well, I'm told it's over there. Can you imagine raising a child? Honey, there's a few things I want to teach you, now that you're, say, 10, 8. A few things I want to teach you. And I'm going to teach you this and this and one other thing. I want to teach you that everyone has a soulmate, a twin. And you'll never be happy unless you find them. And almost nobody finds them, which is why everybody's miserable. Sweetheart, hey, honey. And almost nobody finds them. Well, Mommy, where would I find that? We don't know. They could be not even incarnated. Well, why wouldn't they if I'm supposed to find them? Because the universe just wants to mess with you. They could be in Madagascar. Well, then I have to go to Madagascar. Literally, fly to Madagascar. The 10-year-old is, no. Is that how you would raise a child? I hope not. Then don't raise yourself that way, to have to go looking for anything outside yourself. Get it here and share that with everyone. Not a special other, everyone, including the person you make love with or live with, or you can still have them. Love all children, but don't have them all move in. You know how many billions there are? Just start with yours. But A Course in Miracles uses the term holy relationships. Oh, that's interesting. Back to our chart, isn't it? Top, holy. We started holy, we'll end holy. It'll all work out. But you'll go from judging yourself as unworthy and split off, having to look for someone else that you can't find, fallen. Now what are you going to do? Own that you've been fallen, forgive yourself for thinking that it was someone else, and you're holy again. And then you can say, which is probably the greatest affirmation that any human being can speak, all of my relationships are holy. Whomever they are, anyone that could say that, and it doesn't just mean partner people, all my relations. I have a relationship with a tree outside my house. I have a relationship with critters that eat the tree. I have a relationship with my car. All my relationships are holy means there is nothing that I choose to judge as less than holy. I don't care what it is or who it is. The podium. Well, no, not the podium, because that's not real. It doesn't matter. You'll never know how unreal it is till you love the hell out of it. Absolute. That's the awakening. What happens is poof, and everything turns to light. That's one of the special effects. But there's a feeling. It's not just, oh, I saw things turning to light. I'm holy now. That would still only be half of the story. You would see things turn to light, but you would feel the love. You would feel this certain, oh my God. There's not nothing I would judge. It's not like I must not. It's I care not to. It doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to have to not judge. I wouldn't even bother doing it because I get it. It's a spontaneous moment where that which I really am is now to the foreground in my mind. It's not like something happens external, and it's not something that I make myself not judge, and now I'm starting to see holiness. It would help to make yourself not judge. It would help, but there's a point where you just don't do it. You just don't bother doing it. Why? It's bad. No, it makes no sense. What is there that I would judge? And why? Snakes. Oh, well, that's a good one, because, they might bite you. Really? Did you know that they won't bite you if they don't sense a danger in you? The Native American rituals, have you not seen Billy Jack, the movie? Natives, certain rituals they've done. You're too old to remember that, but you're too young to remember that. The native rituals of a pit of snakes walking through the ritual, and they don't bite. Why? Because you're not there for them to do that. They sense a centered being. Yogananda says a mosquito can't bite you if it doesn't sense that you're off somewhere. Bloody hell, I thought I was doing pretty well. Now you're telling me even a mosquito, oh geez, now I'm imperfect. Laugh at it. It's okay. Maybe it's biting just to show you judged yesterday. Let it go, because without forgiving the moment, you can't be restored. The mosquito is showing you where you were off, not once upon a time, right now. And being off right now is an opportunity to turn on, to get it, to switch on and go, oh my God, I get it. Look for the deeper meanings. Don't obsess on deeper meanings. Mosquito. But wait, what kind of mosquito? What species? Oh, because it was this. It could mean this and that. Stop. Now you should only be looking on, why do I obsess? I can only obsess when I'm afraid. Obsession is always about fear. It's the mind, the head, trying to solve problems it can't solve. So it keeps going. But what if, and maybe, see, it's running rampant. Poor me. Stop. The way you would love a child. Honey, what's going on? Mommy, it's okay, sweetie. What are you thinking about? This. Okay, let's breathe. And you see, talk it down. You deserve to be calm. You deserve to be at peace. And that doesn't mean you enable people in your life that don't know how to do that and they attack. It's okay to say no. And if you must, it's like if I hire an electrician and it's important, there's a short, could cause the house to burn down, etc. Bless you. You hire an electrician. Guys, I want you to literally fix the wiring. I don't want you to go, well, I did it symbolically. I imagined going into the panel and rewiring it all, so it's done on the highest level. Wow. Could you also rewire it? Because I'm literally not going to pay you if you literally didn't do the work. Guys, the literal has its place. Please remember that. Take the person to the hospital and deal with what you got to do. Hygienes and health issues and supplements. And if you're on meds for psych issues, take them for now. It's fine. It's okay. Know the truth, but respect the illusion. So to a degree, you play along. To a degree, Jesus played along. That's what he did. Do you think he couldn't have just disappeared? He proved it many times. Why did he go through a crucifixion? To show you that even when this world does seem to get you, upset you, crucify you, metaphorically, literally, you can resurrect from that problem. You can always bounce back. The sun will go down, the pagan would say, and it will come back in the morning, as well as seasonally. There's always hope. This world has been trying to get you and I to see it literally because it's hopeless. Literal things are hopeless things because they're not expansive. They don't have multiple options to fixing something. Everything's narrowed down. Why? So that there's little hope. Think about that. Think about conspiracy stories. Conspiracy stories can really bring things down to, what really happened? There's this plot. What do we do? You can't do anything because look, there's a plot. It's not, and what is the deeper meaning? Who cares about the deeper meaning? Look at this. Like right now, people can try to solve problems in the world, but with literal solutions, it can't be done. Look at the deeper meaning. And if nobody else in the world ever hears your deeper interpretation, it doesn't matter. Most importantly, you got it. And you are connected to all other minds. So whenever you get something at a deeper level, it's downloading to all other souls, whether you know it or not. Well, it can't unless I call them literally and tell them. No. We already heard you. You see? How did you hear me? Because we're all connected. So all the work that you do, you don't have to literally go and force people to go this way or that way. Just get it in your own mind. Get all your changes and give thanks that you're getting it. Is that all making sense? All right. Please relax and take a few centering breaths. Just centering deeply. I'm asking that our music take us into a deeper meditation, so we'll use it for that. So listen and feel at a deeper level. But for now, centered breathing, set aside all the stuff of the world, setting aside thoughts, worries, fears. Just, I am on the inhale, relaxed on the exhale. I'm willing to learn everything at a deeper level. I'm willing to feel at a deeper level. I don't have to be afraid. The deeper level of things is not there to intimidate me. I don't have to stay in the I don't want to know. I'm safe.
You're the creator, you're the sustainer, and you're the destroyer of all. And you're my lover, you're my teacher. You're my beloved of all, and I bow Gurudev Namo. Namo means to bow, and Om is that vibration of the universe and creation. Gurudev is the divine teacher, always bringing us from darkness to light, from ignorance to awareness. So I bow to all of creation and all the wisdom that awakens me to this present moment of all the love that is here, the miracle of life. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Sing from your hearts now. Om Namo. Sing to your heart. Gurudev Namo. Om Namo. Gurudev Namo. And I want you to sing to any struggle that you may be dealing with right now, that you've been dealing with, and just see that deeper wisdom, the deeper clarity. Give thanks for anything that wants to come through for you right now, and with all the reverence of your voice and your heart, you sing, I bow to you for all the challenges, for all the mistakes, and come back into your alignment of your truth, of your love, your forgiveness. Align with your soul and spirit. I bow to you. And I bow to you. And I bow to you. And I bow to you, 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 and I bow to you.
Breathing in that feeling of gratitude, the vibration, the song, the mantra aspect, the years and lifetimes that our musicians studied music, loved music, the years that it took for us to end up in this room. Through intention of long distance folks who are here, literally. The beauty, the absolute gratitude for the beauty. One deep, deep breath, concentrating on the focus, the love, the presence of God. Let that sound come out together. And so it is. Beautiful. Thank you. I pray that today has made good sense. We're going to do our closing prayer in just a few seconds. Tune into what you've heard, please, a deeper level. It's never been an accident that people created and focused on a literal world. Please remember that. It's not an accident, it's fear. There's more. I don't want to know what else there is in my relationship. It just didn't work. Then you know what's going to happen? You'll work with one person and another with issues. You could use one to heal all of them. One literal problem with a partner and another literal partner and another, it ends up to be 10 people you have to work on issues forgiving. Even if all of them were betraying you and seemingly the bad guys. 10 different people to work on, or one pattern called betrayal. Which would you rather work on? Go to the deeper meaning of things. It's called the easy way. Certainly easier to do things in that way. Why did mankind allow the hyper-masculine to say, women aren't allowed to be in the room learning? Because they didn't want to go to this side of the chart. They didn't want to go to the deeper because it leads home to holiness. Why? Because the ego was in charge, not men. Ego was in charge. And it just drafted the more aggressive of the two genders to play the role, but it's just a role. So, we don't blame the genders. We simply choose staying stuck, asleep, and literal is no longer the way I choose to live. I mean, look at the freedom that comes from you're allowed to be a prisoner in a concentration camp and still think like this instead of like this. Right? Like the wonderful Viktor Frankl did in Auschwitz. We're going to make you people like this, really? Wow. You can't control that. You can try, but you can't control it. When a person really wants the awakening, it's coming. Please stand for our closing prayer. Remember our dear Ananda. He's got products in the foyer there. There's a table. Please stop by. Say hello, give him a hug, show your gratitude, and definitely pick up some of his music. But first, a round of applause for our dear Ananda. And God bless you all. Thank you for being with us. Any of you who have ever joined us or any other place of spiritual awareness, any of us that have ever gone to such a place in our lives and ran up against our ego and pushed through anyway, to you, I especially say thank you. That takes such a new level of courage. So God bless you for pushing through. Keep going for the light at the end of the tunnel. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we go, God is, I am, we are, and so it is. God bless you all online and present here. Bye-bye. Yes. Hey guys, before you go, just 10 seconds.
Yeah. First of all, just again, thank you so much for having me, and Michael and the Unity of Sedona. It's such a pleasure. Yeah. And I'm really happy to announce that I will be making Sedona my new home in June. So I'm excited to be coming back again. And I just wanted to also just make this special announcement. Along with my music, I do mentorship with voice and with music and really all things devotional. So if you are at all interested in that and doing either one-on-ones with me or with courses, I have some courses online, please come talk to me in the foyer, and I would love to just work with you. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
God bless. We have a couple of children's books from the bookstore here that we're giving away. If anybody would like one, you can come up. Linda May will be holding them here. Okay? Thanks, guys. If you have grandchildren or grandchildren. Oh, yeah, a little wizard. Perfect.